checking the sound. Hopefully everything sounds good. Welcome to Dano Crypto. All right. Welcome everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the beginning of the week and the beginning of the possible bullish momentum going up to all-time highs for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Welcome everyone. Welcome all you aliens and degen freaks. We are going to be talking about some things that have been happening in the past couple of days, and we're going to review what has been happening through the weekend and also where we think Bitcoin and Ethereum is going to go and how it's going to trade up into the Bitcoin conference. And then the speculated things that are going to be said at the Bitcoin conference by some key people. And we're going to give you some analysis on the altcoins and what altcoins and chains we think are going to be the top picks for going into first quarter of 2025. And so stick with us to the very end. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, all those things. And I don't make sure everything is working good. Last time the stream, when I started it ended and then it started a second stream. So hopefully it doesn't do that this time. So hopefully we keep up with it. And shout out to you guys who are currently in the live. So let's make sure we're gonna get our get our chat box up so we can make sure we keep up with the chat. We're gonna test it real quick. We're gonna make sure we can say yo. That's the YouTube chat, and then we're streaming onto Twitch as well. So shout out to the Twitch viewers. All right, so let's get all the shilly stuff out of the way. We only shill our own stuff, which is join the Discord. Right now we got $15 for an Ethereum transaction, $15 for the gas fee. And so Bitcoin sitting at $66,800 and Ethereum sitting at $3,451. And so make sure you guys are in the Discord and you're chatting amongst yourselves in the Hangout and chat section. You're posting your memes, you're posting your best trade screenshots, and also you're getting all of the updates immediately when I do any type of giveaways. And shout out to the partners of the channel, BITFLEX. Make sure you guys are signing up with my referral code. If you want to trade these markets, whether they're going up or down, you get a fat, juicy bonus. And you get entered into the contest that is still running for the Treasure Safe 3. All right, so the Bitcoin conference is this week. It is starting on the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. And we are going to be, or it actually starts on the 25th, going into the 26th and 27th, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then along with this, we have the karate combat that is going to be happening as well. So that's going to be really key. It's going to be one of the biggest ones yet. A lot of people are speculated to be there. People like Joe Rogan, RFK Jr. is going to be making an appearance. So that's going to be really cool. So there's a lot of things to look forward to this week. And if you're going to be in Nashville, I'm going to be there at the conference, and I will also be at the Karate Combat. So if you see me, just, come up and say hi. It'd be cool to meet you guys in person. And we're going to be hanging out with Mr. M and Da Vinci. And so it's going to be cool. We're just going to be strolling around. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be one of the biggest conferences to date. We've only been to one crypto conference ever, and it was the last Bitcoin conference in Miami. So for this to be the second one, this is going to be definitely topping it. So we're really excited, and we're just going to have some fun. So, all right, so let's get into a little bit of what the altcoins are doing right now. If you're looking at the altcoins, we're starting to see some of the movements and some more liquidity come into the market. We have some outliers here. We have Jupiter, Core, Injective, Floki, Mu, Say, Conflux, CFX, things like Pith. We got Bonk, Sand, ICP, Fanta, Doge up almost 2%. Akash Network, AKT, I feel I've always seen this AKT, this Akash network, it's been doing really, really well. It's always been trajectorily in the green for the most part, and it's been one of the altcoins that I've noticed that always has the quickest recovery whenever we get a dip and then we get some bounces in the market. So it's making me think that I want to really keep AKT, the Akash network, on my radar for one of those altcoins that could just surprise us. It just starts to run, and that's the same with Thorchain, with Ruin, and things like Stacks. What else can I throw in that list that could just surprise us? Crow token. So really start to think about the altcoins and what you think is going to outperform Bitcoin, because the whole point of you investing in altcoins is that you're going to get a better return off your Bitcoin. So that's the kind of mentality you have to think, is that you're not, what other reason would you go into altcoins besides that it has more of a return, more of an incentive of being able to hold it. And that kind of goes into the incentive of what gaming tokens are going to have when we go into the gaming run. And the AI and gaming tokens are going to be the first thing that really see the mass liquidity and use case. And when it comes to, say, look, like Medieval Empires is a good example of something that is a crypto game token that you can stake it and you get rewards in the game by doing so. So then there you go. There's one utility aspect of the Me token for a crypto game that could potentially get a lot of gameplay and users, which it is already. So, and that's just one example of something that you can kind of trade off of in the narrative of an altcoin, and it being tied to a narrative that is going to be huge this run. So put a 1 in the chat if you guys think that gaming is actually going to be the first run up of these tokens that when we go into 2025, the first quarter. I really think so. I mean, I think gaming, if I've studied how the 90s were and the early 2000s and the 10s, going into, I mean, now I would say the video game market has always been one of the highest pulling money markets for age groups between like 15 to ages 35, to be honest, like with gaming in the market. And it's just like it's crazy. It's gonna pull so many people when you think about a good, successful crypto game that is going to be played by millions, which we've already seen that with Axie Infinity, where we had millions of players. We had Smooth Love Potion and the Axie token ecosystem, the NFTs, the Axies themselves. And that was because it had mass users. I mean, it just adopted very fast. And so that's just kind of like a piece, and honestly, just a teaser of what the potential of what AI crypto gaming can do in this next run. So it's gonna be really interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see. And then, of course, honestly, the blue chips will do well. Your Filecoins, your Tezos, and your Tron, and ICP, these things are probably they're gonna do well too. They're going to kind of be carried up with Ethereum breaking all-time highs, Bitcoin breaking all-time highs. You're going to see returns on these coins. The market will generally all pull up, but you're going to see outliers of the strongest coins being either the strongest utility coins, strongest blue chip layer 1s, layer 2s, like Chainlink. And the meme coin section and meme coin sector is where you're going to see something interesting happen, where you're going to see things like Brett being the unofficial official mascot of Base Chain, doing some really interesting stuff. Really, really interesting stuff. All right, so let's get into the charts here for a little bit. We'll just get into the charts on Bitcoin. Right now, interesting enough, we have seen a rejection. Right now on Bitcoin, we're seeing an interesting rejection play out here, where we rejected off some resistance that hit at 68,002. We're looking at the daily here. If we look at the hourly, we came off of these two red candles here, saw some resistance at that 68, almost 67.9, and now we're seems like we could be getting a little bit of a recovery here just on the short-term time frame. We were trying to push into this level. I got this level marked as 69.7. So what is the 69.7? Well, I mean, that's old market previous resistance and also new resistance for this cycle that we've hit a few times. And so if we go into the Bitstamp chart, we're basically now, we tried to get up almost halfway between this range of 66,300 and 71,800, which is the range that we're trying to trade up to. So I think now that we've kind of formed a bit of this bottom, we traded 65.9, and now we're starting to get some more of that momentum trading up. We just have to clear that initial resistance that we just hit at 68.5. If we can clear that and we trade above the Bollinger Band, which is hitting right on that band, this is just on the 1 hour. If we put it on the 4 hour, then the top of the band would be 69,000. And that would line up with really good support, because we have good support here sitting at those prices to push us up to that 71,000. That's why we have that area marked. So all we have to do is find strength here at this price. If we can find strength here at this price and we keep that forward momentum, then we have a good case of moving up to that 71,800 level, which was where we got rejection just here in June 6th. So now currently we are sitting at a pretty key level, guys. So what's the target? Well, I just gave it to you. We find the strength, then we will be sitting for another 7% move to the upside. But then also we have to take into account we have Ethereum ETFs that are going to be trading tomorrow, and that is going to be 6 different Ethereum ETF applications. That includes iShare, VanEck, Valkyrie, Bitwise, and a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think what we could see is a potential same scenario that happened with Bitcoin, with the ETF of Bitcoin. We had a little bit of a run up, then we had some sell pressure, and then we started to run. So CryptoKid actually did a very good analysis on this, and this morning on the Moon Show. So shout out to CryptoKid. If you didn't catch that, you guys can go back and replay it. Just type in the Moon, Carl Runefelt, and then also you'll see the Moon channel pop up, and click on today's live stream. And so with that analysis, he gave that it could potentially trade like the Bitcoin ETF. And I agree. And then I also kind of brought up the fact that the market structure and sentiment, I think right now is a lot more bullish. So it could potentially trade up a little bit higher than what, say, the Bitcoin ETF did and that run that ensued, especially if we break through these levels. We have an inverse head and shoulders here playing out, and what could happen is we already marked up how fast that did this chart look like ticker Bitcoin? Let's check. Well, okay, we'll go and check ticker Bitcoin out after. That's funny. If the chart does, that's what's interesting is that a lot of the Bitcoin looked exactly the same. Bitcoin traded into this W pattern, like it traded down and hit its low point, which for Ethereum was 2,900. And then if you were to go to Bitcoin, look, I mean, it looks very, very, very similar, very similar. And so we've realized that, but then we kind of correlated this with, hey, is Ethereum actually going to get some of the dominance now? And if Bitcoin dominance goes down a little bit to 50%, and then we get that same thing of what we've been analyzing of this January and March run, where we had a little altcoin season, a little pre-altcoin season. Going into Ethereum breaking its all-time highs, or at least getting back up into the close to $4,000 range. Because once we started breaking up, form this range, it really started to get us back into that hope of, okay, Ethereum breaking all-time highs. We've had all the eyes in the show on Bitcoin, so what's going to happen when we start to get that big money, that real big money into Ethereum, and we have institutional buys, we have retail coming in. And to be honest, guys, like when I mentioned about retail coming in, Crypto Kid and I had, a good analysis and conversation on this, how retail is just not here yet. And it proves it because we're only $2.7 trillion of a total market cap for the cryptocurrency markets out of the entire market. Okay, so, but you got to realize that is only because it's just us. It's literally just us in our bubble of crypto and the big money, institutions coming in, whales. And so this is what is actually moving the markets right now. It's not any retail coming in. Like it's silent. They're more on the sidelines waiting for another all-time high to break, and then they're going to buy the top perpetually. That is what retail does. That is how I got into crypto, because I, being the retail person coming into crypto for the first time in January 2021, I bought the top because that's what happens. But then you realize if you're going to be in crypto from then on or not, because then you either sell it or you do whatever, or you say, oh, you take the hit and then you get back up again and you learn about the cycles and you learn about what happens. You go, oh, okay, this is just it's how you get in. It's how they get you in. The markets start to pump, and then it starts to really hit that euphoria phase. It hits that euphoria phase of like, holy moly, the thrill gets you in, the euphoria, and then that's the retail coming in right there. And that's usually the people that have been in the cycles. That's our signal that we should be taking profits. So I am speculating for everyone that's been wondering, and if you have been watching this channel for the past couple of weeks or months, you already know this, that the profit-taking strategy is 8 months out. It's 9 months out. That actually still gives us plenty of time and no rush to accumulate DCA and pick a solid strategy of coins and narratives to trade on that will ultimately benefit us in the max profit-taking portion of the market. The bull market, which we are in still, is a year after the halving. We're only 3 months after the halving. 3 months after the halving, so you have to do some basic math. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So then 8, 9 months, that is plenty of time to figure out, and I'm not going to tell you what to buy, but you figure out what you're picking for your narrative and plan, which mine is gaming. It's the strong meme narratives of the mascots for the chains, because that is what people, retail, are going to come in and buy before they buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum is going to look too expensive. And what is going to be on the Coinbase wallet, what is going to be on the front screen and the front page of crypto.com and Coinbase and Qcoin, it's going to be the memes, because that's what drives the retail narrative now into people getting into this space. So it's very simple. So I'm picking the strong projects, I'm picking the strong narratives that are going to, I think, personally, do very well, and then I'm taking profits in the time where it makes the most sense, to where I'm not losing my entries, I'm not selling out and possibly trying to buy back in, because that game can be very tricky, and can be sometimes a fool's game. And I've learned from my own mistakes of trying to jump around too much. You get caught and distracted, and then you end up with either less Bitcoin or less of a crypto than you originally had. With all you had to do was just stick with the original plan you had to begin with. So it gets pretty, it's very not player versus player, more so than it is you versus yourself, because you are the person that is going to destroy your plan more than anyone else will. You cannot blame anyone for you breaking your plan and your strategy but yourself. 100%. You have to take accountability, and you have to know that it was your fault that if you got distracted and sold your coins out too early, or if you deviated from your profit taking strategy, if you're trading and you started to FOMO trade and then you're getting wrecked, you have to pivot and you have to start to realize that the only way you're going to be successful and get through the noise is to battle and beat the person that ultimately is yourself getting convinced or fudded out of something or breaking your plan and original strategy, which in my case is I want to take profits when it makes sense. 8 months out, I'm investing, I'm incentivizing into something for a potential outlook of success, which is for me 15, 20x, 25x, not a 2 or a 3, not like a paycheck's worth. No, I'm talking like I want FU type profit taking. And it has to line up with the halving cycles and what has been, will be. It doesn't do it exactly, but it will rhyme. And that's what I'm noticing. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I know it's kind of a bit of a long-winded explanation of how you might want to look and have a long-term strategy and think that like 60 something thousand dollar Bitcoin right now is super cheap. $67,000 literally right now in the money now, and now that it's dipped a little bit, 67,000, 66.6 actually just not that long ago. So just dipped a little bit on that 20 SMA. Curious to see if we can break that 69,000, break that resistance that we just hit right here. Very curious to see where we're going to be going, but just the fact that the price right now, 67,000, it is still cheap, because if you believe, and you don't even have to believe in it. You don't have to believe in Bitcoin. You don't have to believe in Bitcoin for it to still do what it's going to do. It only will ultimately convince you and make you a believer by the fact that it is truth in its essence of what it does by its programming. And that's what I've understand, is that I can try and make all these analogies or whatever, and try and still maybe think about, okay, we still have to operate in this system and still like do this stuff a certain way. But really, when you start to think about Bitcoin and you start to think about the Bitcoin maxis and why they ended up becoming maxis to begin with, is that they really started to understand that Bitcoin is like ultimately a mindset of how you want to protect yourself ultimately in a lot of other ways besides just financially. It teaches you about, ironically, privacy, which is hilarious. It's like freedom and autonomy and privacy, but it's on an open ledger. It's so ironic that in the essence of Bitcoin and owning Bitcoin, you start to become more conservative. You start to become more... it's really strange. I don't understand it, but it's happening real time in my life. And so, yeah. So Bitcoin right now, 67,000 is cheap. If you're long-term Bitcoin, your long-term strategy is to be in crypto, then this is nothing. This is nothing. I mean, we're going to be going to well over 100K soon. So 100K from here, if we're going for that trajectory right here, that's only just a 46% move to the upside. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing. Some of these altcoins, I mean, speaking of ticker Bitcoin, Speaking of ticker Bitcoin, recently actually went up on the daily. If we look at the daily, it just started crushing it because Bitcoin started to see some massive strength. You see on the weekly, ticker Bitcoin started to trade up back kind of almost into that trend, that top trend high area. What was that? 47%. So you don't think the top dog Bitcoin can just pull a casual 40% coming up off of its halving in a bull market? 100% it can. 100%. The big daddy top dog Bitcoin can 100% get there. No problem. Absolutely no problem. And this is without retail being here. This is what's so funny is that this is without retail being here. Once retail gets here, they're going to get here after it starts to break 80K. Because I remember this number. I remember the 80K number being that psychological number that everyone was thinking it was going to get to. What are the catalysts? Well, I think the catalyst is going to be what ensues after the election. That's going to be a big catalyst, okay? Because then that determines... Okay. Oh, so are you talking about for ticker Bitcoin? Oh, well, so, okay. Here's the catalyst, I think, maybe for ticker Bitcoin is that when Bitcoin does well, it really, really does well. For some reason, it just starts to pump with it. And then it's an ERC20 meme coin. Ethereum is going to break all-time highs soon. So then this coin kind of plays off of two different success rates of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum does well. It's got a great liquidity pool. It's on a great chain. And it's also playing off the Bitcoin narrative. So it's like, that's why I think as ticker Bitcoin, it could be a very funny, ironic top meme coin in this bull run because it kind of just does its own thing. Does its own thing, but plays off of really two strong narratives. That's what I think about that. That's why I kind of keep it in the back. I keep it in the back burner. But yeah, guys, I think a lot of catalysts this year. I mean, we got a lot of different catalysts. We got the election. We have better regulatory framework. But as think about this, you got to think about who's going to be in power. Who's going to be controlling the gates? Who's going to be the gatekeepers? You know, are the gatekeepers going to be harder to break through, or are the gatekeepers going to play nice? And are they going to let basically? To break it, are the gatekeepers going to let the middle class kind of come back into and get the people that are in like almost the below poor middle class start to make some money again? Because that's kind of what happened is that we kind of had a big switching balance of money and power where a lot of the money and from the middle class got swiped up and just went straight to the really, really, really upper class. And the people that were almost about to get to middle class, they were like, oh, we're almost there. And then they were like, got hit with inflation. And they were like, I was so close. So then you kind of just hit a bit of a wall. So we'll see. Daughter's laughing in the background. We'll see how the power structure goes. That's what people are essentially trading and speculating off right now. If I'm correct, we don't know who they're going to pick as the Democratic nominee. Obviously, it's been speculated and also in the Simpsons prophecies that Kamala Harris will be the pick. And it's interesting that they did this because they kind of spurred out Joe all the way to the very end until he crashed and burned. And they had no time to be able to actually kind of bolster up another candidate that ultimately would had trumped any success of a second campaign with Biden and Harris, which is very interesting. I liked that analysis. I can't remember where I read that from. It was a tweet, and it was like they did this on purpose so then they could basically make Kamala the sit-in president because Biden's health is deteriorating. Then she comes in as acting president, and then the next 6 months would be a chance for her to gain more favor with the delegates for going into this election. And so I don't know. There's a lot of theories going around. I mean, there's a lot of craziness happening right now. It seems like more than ever that we're probably like living in a simulation, and that they're just really pulling the Matrix glitch like programming. They're just like, and just you see the code go, and then it starts to run the show. And I'm very, very curious as to see what plays out in the next 6 months. You have LaRue says Obama could be the pick for VP. He would be allowed to run. Don't need another 4 years of his leftist policies, open borders. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. It's like, even if you're like, this is what's so interesting to me. It's not even about like trying to be so polarizing, because it's like, I don't like, I still can't stand the whole like, oh, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, and then if you're a Democrat, I feel bad for someone who is in the Democratic Party that has been misrepresented by the people who have infiltrated the Democratic Party. That's actually like what is the best thing that I can say without diminishing a whole entire group of people by a little small group of bad actors. So you got a small group of bad actors that have completely infiltrated the Democratic Party and have destroyed it. And so that's the sad truth. And so what it does is it does make it very polarizing, because then you have people that are completely demoralizing a potential a system, the Democratic Party and Democratic system, of certain issues that it could be democratic and work. And then you have a Republican, more conservative way of thinking for certain other aspects of how our country operates. And then that's how we do it. We don't agree on everything. And then that's why we have state laws. And then we have the federal law. And then it's not black or white. You got variables. So obviously we know that. This is why the American dream, the American experiment is operating still to this day, and that we're fighting for it. And this is why there are people in both parties, Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, doesn't freaking matter if you're fighting for the freedoms of this country and this people, and you don't want other illegal immigrants coming in this country bringing drugs, crime, and all of this other BS that we have to deal with, and then also sending our tax dollars and our hard-earned money to other countries, selling out our farmers, selling out our workers for cheap labor across, then we got a problem. Then we have a major problem. And I don't care who you are. If you live in America, that affects you. It affects you. So this is why it is very important to not have bad actors in any party. Doesn't matter, because then it doesn't matter if if a Democrat gets into power or a Republican gets into power. If their policies make sense and they're not taking advantage of the American people, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At that point, it absolutely does not matter. Because then it takes the polarizing BS out of the equation, and it just gets to the root cause of like, what's the problems? Let's try and actually fix them, and not outsource everything that we've built with this country on the backs of like our ancestors, to then just sell it off because we let some bad actors get in here and manipulate our system. No thanks. And that's 100% why I think there are certain people that are fighting for that very fact and that truth in America, and we need to support those people. So Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me, because dang it, it's like, it's not that aspect of understanding this is not that complicated to understand. That's what they want you to confuse you on and make you be polarized. Our issues in America are very simple. Keep the energy here. Keep the people that we do not want in this country out, meaning criminals and people who are bringing in fentanyl and people who are rapists and people who are doing this and just destroying our country. That's pretty simple. Healthcare doesn't need to be free. It needs to be affordable. People who are trying to live off of Social Security should not be literally starving off of Social Security and trying to retire as a old person who is just trying to live out the rest of their years in peace. But these people have to literally go back out to the workforce to afford their medications, and then they die miserable because they've had to get drugged through this system that is 100% manipulating them. And it has to stop. So I hope that we get people in our government and in our systems that are pro-crypto, they're freaking pro-life, they're pro-freaking people living their life in freedom, and also to support their autonomy and choices. And that's why there's states. That's why there's state laws. That's why there's That's why there's state laws. It's very interesting. You learn a lot when you start to think about like how our countries ran, and it's pretty interesting experiment, because it's like in one place you could be very liberal, in one place you could be very conservative, and we all live in the same country, and we can all still get along. You could hate crypto, and I can love crypto, but we could actually still like the same musical artist and go to that same concert and be like, man, this is great. They're having a good time. All right, see you later. That's the dream. That's the dream. But I digress. I've probably scared off a good portion of people, but it's okay. It's all good. We'll see how many people we got. I don't know how many people we got going on all the platforms. Let's see how many people we got going on X. Not too bad. Well, I hope you guys are doing well. I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream. I don't know if there's anything else we want to really cover. The backs of... yeah. Yeah. Well, sadly, when you get into slavery, every single race and every single, like, in any era of time, there have been slaves. We've been slaves. We've all been slaves to the man. there's like... It really, if you want to just be very simple, it's like we've all been have been slaves to the mind. Like our minds have been enslaved. Our minds have been enslaved, and that's the one thing that is maybe the key in the Matrix, is that you figure out what parts of our lives are so manipulated and so easy to get in your vision, in your ears, and in your aura to completely fabricate a existence and reality to you to then ultimately become true. It's very interesting. So it's like what I think the Fed has done is a very interesting form of participating in our own enslavement. because a lot of the enslavement now is a lot different than it was back then. It was more like, here's some chains, you're going to go do some work, you're going to be here, you're going to do this. And this type of enslavement is a lot different. It's way more mental. It's more psychological. It's very more of a psychological enslavement where you are actually choosing to do so, because then that is the most easiest, sinister type of enslavement that you can do to a particular human race, is that they do it willingly. Because if you have a mass execution order of an agenda to enslave people, I think you'd have some type of pushback. But if you make it to where it's so intertwined in your everyday life that you willingly do so, then that is the ultimate enslavement. Kenyatta Laura Moore said, just don't be racist. That's a good statement, yeah. I mean, we do our best. I mean, God, I don't want to offend anyone, but it's kind of hard not to offend. I mean, jeez. But I don't know. I think I've had a pretty good track record so far on this channel of not offending people. I think I've offended a few, but we try and be as nice as possible. We try and be as nice as possible. Oh, man. Well, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much. All right, let's see. I just want to give a shout out to the people that have been watching today. Kenyatta, Calvin Clark. We have Sen. We got LaRue. And we have Rosh Karan, Lake the Great. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to America. God bless America. Shout out to all the people who watch in other countries. I want to say shout out to you guys, because we don't have people that just watch in America. We actually have people that watch all across the world. So I think it's really cool that you're giving a dumb American like me a chance to potentially educate you in some cryptos. Oh, that's a good quote. Crypto Behab says, "Hate stupid, not color." Yes, like, yeah, we don't like stupid people, you know. But everyone gets a little stupid, and then you either learn from your mistakes or you just keep doing stupid stuff, you know. But hopefully we all ascend, and we and we all can become smarter. The aliens would appreciate it, right? I think the aliens would indeed appreciate it. I think that's why some haven't fully revealed themselves, potentially, because they're like, these guys need some time. They need some time. They'd be like, they're still talking about race. They'd be like, oh my God, get over here, get guys. They're like, whoa, what is going on? They're still fighting over that stuff? Holy moly. I know a lot of people have made that joke. They're like, the aliens have not showed up because we have clearly not have learned our lessons yet. Would you guys agree? I would say I would agree. I would be like, I am not going to this. These people are going to freak out. But what's really interesting is that Bitcoin is space money. Bitcoin is space money. Uh-oh. I think I'm dropping frames, guys. I'm sorry at that. I feel like I just went out, but I think it went back in. Oh, okay, I'm back. Yeah, you guys realize that in the next 10 years, like, we could be like on Mars using Bitcoin. Like, you could transfer. This is what's so interesting. This is what's freaking crazy about crypto and Bitcoin, and the fact that it, through satellites and through I think I'm good, yeah. Ish. No, I think I'm losing my frames. I don't know what's going on. I think the Matrix finally was like, "You're done, son." The Matrix said, "Cut him." The Matrix feed said, "Cut it." He started talking about the inevitable plan. Get him off now. Say Matrix glitch. They said, "Shut this guy up immediately." All right, guys. Well, you're awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. We've just I feel like we kind of went too much on the rant. We went too much on the rant, but it's okay. Sometimes the live streams can be like that. It just happens. You're working with the top achiever of ADHD live streams. My wife, she was just saying, like, she was like, I think you definitely are undiagnosed. She's like, something's up's going on there. And I said, yeah, you're not wrong. I said, you're not wrong. I said, you're not wrong. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, being with the top ADHD crypto live streamer in the business. All right, so yeah, just want to remind you guys, we will be at the Bitcoin conference. If you're going to be in Nashville and you're going to be anywhere around the conference, I mean, you know how to get in touch with me. You got the Discord right here. You can be like, "Yo, we're right here. We're at this booth," and then we're going to meet. We're going to take some pictures, and it's going to be super, super bullish. And so I hope that happens. I hope we get a chance to meet in person, and it's going to be really cool to see all these speakers and all the usual faces that you see at the Bitcoin conference, and it's going to be pretty cool. So really, I'm feeling good about it. But I got some wise words from a friend of mine that said, just go and have fun. Just go and have fun, and don't stress, and everything will be all good. So with that being said, I'll leave you with those words. Go and have fun. Don't stress, and everything will be all good. Every little thing is going to be all right. Shout out to Bob Marley. All right. Peace out, guys.